Hey, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Chapter 4 of the Recovery Mode podcast. Now, normally that I would be interviewing somebody that is a contributor to it. My name is Robert Knowles. Today, my interviewee or interviewer, as you will, is Dr. Rick Jetter. You met him in episode 1. He is co-founder, author of 6 books. I think he likes long walks on the beach.
Oh, jeez. We don't have a beach around us.
Yeah, he is. And ladies and gentlemen, fun fact about Dr. Jetter: he is in the home of the chicken wing. The chicken wing was developed in Buffalo, New York.
The original Buffalo Wings. You can't beat them. You can't even try to beat them. No one else can beat them, and they're Buffalo Wings.
So does Buffalo, New York, love their do they have how Wingstop has a habanero pepper wing or anything? Do they have that, or is it just the Buffalo wing?
Yeah, a lot of people are putting all sorts of spices and different, but if you're a Buffalonian, it's hot sauce, it's medium or hot, and it's Anchor Bar, Duff's. Those are the places. They're so good that they mail them to people all over the world.
I would love to have a packet of Buffalo wings. Just open it up and just be like, ooh. I mean, you cannot, as a male in this country, cannot open up a box and see chicken wings and not be angry. You'd be like, they're chicken wings. This is awesome.
They're unbelievable. Yeah, it's better than Christmas gifts.
Santa, I'd like some blue cheese, and I like
some Buffalo wings. Yeah,
I like the Buffalo wings. And Santa would be like, I'd like some Buffalo wings too.
Yeah.
What we're talking about today, just like for everybody else. So actually, let's see if I can get it on the full screen. There we go. So recovery mode is what we're talking about. This is a free 158 page ebook download. You can find it at pushboundconsulting.com. While we're broadcasting, feel free to comment if you have any questions, anything that we've talked about. If you want us to elaborate a little bit, definitely leave any comments in the comment feed. We will hit some of them if I see some come through. I think we've been getting a little bit of a good little following going, good little views and everything. So if you know someone who would appreciate this and would benefit from our discussion about recovery mode, which is what the discussion every educator is pretty much talking about right now, please feel free to like this, share it to anyone you know who's in the education field, and definitely get, we all move together in this field, and all education, this involves everybody, because we're all talking about what's going to happen in the fall. We're all talking about what's going to happen when your kids go back to school. And as educators, Dr. Jetter is an administrator, I'm an educator. What's it going to look like for us? So I'll leave it to Dr. Jetter because he's read my chapter, and I'll let him take control. So, Dr. Jetter, go ahead. What do you want to know?
Thanks. I just want to do a quick intro. Our hearts are with the Floyd family. We pushing boundaries, and we are certainly against racial inequality and racial injustice. We wanted to not leave that out today. As we continue as a country to not only deal with COVID, but this crazy time in American history. Not that there haven't been many others, but we stand with all of our friends who are fighting racial injustice, and I just wanted to start with that. The other piece of this is we wrote recovery mode when we were dealing with COVID and looking at how schools would open up. A lot of what we write about can actually apply to building up your culturally responsive programming. And that's what is so interesting about Rob's chapter is, and we're going to get right into it now, but Rob, your chapter is called Shaking Up Recovery. And it blows me away, because if we're talking about recovery, my first question is, how do you shake it up? How do you take two words like that and put them together?
Shaking up recovery, Dr. Jetter, is one of those things where you just have to take it. And I think this is one of what I bring to the team is I will come with those ideas out of the box and bring it to the forefront. everything I do in education, I try and be original and be forward and everything else. Is when you shake up recovery, especially with COVID, this is the time to really reinvent yourself, strike when the iron is hot, and go forward with it. Because this whole educational thing we have is going to change. No matter what you or I say about it, no matter what our leaders in education are going to say about it, it will change. And being the quiet person in the corner of meetings or staff meetings needs to be over with. You could speak up and talk, and if you have an idea, this is where people are willing to listen. You as an administrator, I'm sure, are going to listen to everyone that you want to, that you can get your hands on for ideas and things you can do in the matters of e-learning, equity, and everything else. And you can't be afraid to rock the boat a little bit. You can't be afraid to say, man, I've been sitting on this idea for like 6 months. Maybe it's good now. Say it now. Do it now. It's like, this is the time to do it, because if we don't do something, and if those ideas that you have that you've been sitting on for a number of months might be those next ideas that help us in the fall and going forward to be able to shape education. Because regardless of who or what we think about, it's changed. It's going to be changed. It will be different, and we need to be ahead of the game. And if we're not ahead of the game, we're not going to be successful. And I think,
it's inevitable, right?
Yeah, you have to talk about it, because if you don't strike it now and be a part of it now, and just email your division chair, email your administrator, be like, hey, they're not gonna chew you out because you have an idea. I was thinking about this. I just wanted to pass this along and give this to you in the fall. For the fall, I was thinking about what would work with this. They're not going to lash out at you. They're going to welcome your input. And the thing is that people are so they're so reserved. They're like, I don't want to be the one to say anything. And that one person, say it, do it. You need to be anxious to reinvent yourself, because if you needed to reinvent yourself as an educator, this is going to be the time, because education is going to reinvent the wheel if you want to get on it or not. So
the boat's been rocked. It's continuing to be rocked, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pushing boundaries beyond anything we've imagined. It's recovery and it's emergence. So I want to stick with that point that you made about speaking up and speaking out, right? You talk about voice in your chapter quite a bit, and I think that's part of the shake-up process. Can you talk a little bit about how to bring those voices in, and the different kinds of voices, and how you can shake up recovery by getting some different type of people involved?
So first things first, and to bring our relationship together, to use it as an example, Dr. Jenner and I have had a relationship, friendship for 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And we first met each other in person last year, like for the first time. I actually gave him a hug last year outside of Giordano's in front in Chicago. Like that was the first time. The biggest thing is shaking up recovery, making sure you align your circle, your PLCs, your professional learning communities, making sure you get those people around you to be successful, taking those and moving them forward, having that positive voice, positive people going forward. If you are a e-learning expert, if you know how to implement learn LMSs, learning management systems, or specific apps or specific things to help implement e-learning, say something, be that voice, be that person. Hey, who in the room has, I do, raise your hand consistently, because you are going to be that effect of shaking the recovery up and making that school a better place for your students. And that's why we're all here. We're all here to make a better place for our kids. And if you don't do that now, and if everyone who's listening, or hopefully will be listening, does not do that, education is not going to be as effective as it is in the fall as it was before, or our more little holes are going to be exposed. Because what I think, and please agree with me or not, I think what COVID taught us is that we are needed. Teachers are needed. It showed that everyone for years has said, oh, we can do everything online. We can do everything credit recovery style and everything else. No, you can't, because you as well as myself and a lot of other people we talk to, it exposes some parents that are not having the structure that teachers give their students in schools. Students need structure. Students need to be, directed and reaffirmed and everything else. So it's shown that what we as educators, administrators, anyone in this field need to be there. And if we can have those circles come together and those communities come together to move that forward and have ideas, and don't think any idea is a bad idea. Now is the time to be able to say, hey, this is my idea. And it might sound ludicrous to somebody, but it might work. And that's the thing. You need to bring that to the forefront.
Yeah. So, your chapter, when people look at it, what I love about recovery mode is you can jump around wherever you want, right? You don't have to read it from chapter 1 to chapter 16. You can jump around. If you're feeling something, during a certain point, you could say like, you know what, I'm going to go to 5. I want to wrap my brain around this topic. Or if you're speaking with your school about grades and assessment, you can jump to that chapter, right? So as we look at shake up recovery, and that might come across as like, wow, that's anarchy, right? That's totally crazy stuff. I want to go in there and check it out, right? Yeah, Godzilla's coming. What would be your advice to begin the process of shaking things up? Like if you're going to scaffold this for our audience and our readers, where would you give the advice about how to get started with shaking up recovery? Because that's going to lead to emergence.
Basically, with scaffolding this properly to be able to make it more effective, is first thing is to get your mind right. Is to get your mind right and understand what is the outcome you want to bring to the table. So you want to shake up recovery. You want to be, so if you're an expert in e-learning, if you're an expert in fostering parent communication, if you're an expert in bilingual, like the ELL population, whatever you're an expert in, take that. You want to scaffold that to find similar-minded people that share the same ideas that you do, and then take that, brainstorm ideas, maybe form an after-school PLC of some kind to brainstorm ideas to bring to the table to your administrators and say, hey, us as a group thought that this might be a good way to go forward in the fall. This might be a good way for us to attack the issue of bilingual students at their homes where English is not their first language. Things that are prevalent, internet not having internet in their home. So if you take it from there and scaffold that up slowly but surely, always circling around those positive-minded people and actually wanting to take a stand. You don't want to bring people around and be like, well, I don't want to talk or I don't want to say anything. You want to circle yourself with people who want to do that, because if you bring that positive energy, they bring that positive energy, and then that grows and grows and grows. And then you have people like staff meetings, and you and I have both been to educational conferences where there's everyone in the room, thousands of people that have the same idea, and they're so enthusiastic and positive, and they're raring to go, and they want to get out of there, and they want to go home, and they want to implement it in their classrooms right there. So I think when you start little, taking it from your own personal perspective, getting your mind focused, and then moving it from there, I think you're golden. I think that's where you need to go.
Well, that's a good point. And, even our reluctant participants, they can still share things, whether it be through emails or writing, a note to the group. And, and they may learn a lot from the people who are more outspoken, so that we can even get our reluctant participants and contributors on board. I want to switch gears with you a little bit.
Sure.
I want to talk to you about the writing process and being part of recovery mode, because now you're an educator that's moving into authorship. You're going to be moving into even more speaking opportunities and things that you can do as an influencer. And I want to kind of break this down a little bit. So, pushing boundaries, we put out to all of our affiliates, if you'd like to be part of this project, you don't have to. And we had a ton of people step up from our team. Why did you decide to even be a part of this project?
Honestly, it was probably one of the most humbling things to be asked to have my opinion put together with such a great group of individuals. Talking to, like, we have 16, I want to say that number is correct, 16 people on the team, and just being asked to have my ideas contributed to such a powerful piece with so many heavy hitters in the educational field, from Bethany Hill to you to Rebecca Coda to Eric Nichols to Eric Frank. I mean, everyone. It just it was humbling to me. I'm like, wow, I get to sit at the table. Is like when you're a kid and you wanted to sit at the big boy table at Thanksgiving. It's like, man, I get to sit at the big boy table with these heavy hitters in education of where I want to be. And it's just being able to do that was just, first, humbling. Second, it was like reaffirming that this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to teach, and I'm supposed to spread my ideas. And even if it's not, I'm a history teacher. Great. Yeah. I'm a history teacher. You or English, I was saying English literature, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
But it's not about us. You're not an English literature teacher. I'm not a history. We're teachers. We're supposed to spread ideas. We're supposed to spread questions and know how to. And if I was put into a science position, I'm supposed to know how to facilitate that information in science or in English or whatever. And my point is that, I can facilitate my ideas in the same ways we teach, to go to a broader horizon and to a broader range of people, and people will look at, and people will be like, wow, that was awesome. And we're taught as educators how to speak and how to ask certain questions and answer certain questions. And I just, I jumped on board because I was like, I'm probably never going to be asked to do this again, and this is the first opportunity for me to do it. And if it leads to other things, it's just more power to me. And to just be out there and do what I love to do is just, I think I have a superpower of reaching kids. I think that's my superpower. I can reach kids, So
awesome. It is. It's awesome. And it's just a quick side note. Some of our affiliates weren't a part of this project just because they were super swamped in some other projects that they had to do. And the other thing is, heavy hitters. I like to think of myself as I'm glad to even be out on that C line, or get off that bench to get a little playing time. It's the humility of our team is awesome. We don't think we're anybody special. We just come together and we try to do the best we can.
Don't sell yourself short, man.
No, I mean,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we bonded over Dunk Tank. I mean, if people don't know, we bonded over Dr. Jetter wrote this wonderful thing called Dunk Tank. And during that process, he wrote the book. I was getting dunked at a school I was at. I was literally going through his book. Like, I was reading and I'm just like, this sounds familiar. That happened too. Highlighter. This happened again. And that's the thing. It's just like, you have let them speak. You have the things behind you. And I mentioned on Dan Tricarico's episode last time that Dave Burgess, Teach Like a Pirate, saved my life. It kept me here. I mean, if I didn't get that book, I still would not be here. And that's the thing. I got that book and it reinvigorated me. It gave me a role. It gave me just everything. And then I'm Dave, to you guys, to everybody else on the team, to people I've met over social media versus Twitter and educational things you and I have been at, or I've been at on my own. And it just, it's so invigorating to see people not, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. Why not? You meet the best people on Twitter and Facebook because there's so many people that want to share ideas, and the fact that you're not using this resource that is being, utilized, that it should be utilized more than it is.
Yeah. So. That's awesome. I've got one more question for you, and something that you said, and just wanting to be a part of a project, something special. You liked the project, where we were headed with it, and a lot of people out there, they don't think they can really put together a book or something formal that they can get out to the masses. We chose that recovery mode would be free. Because of the economic situation that we're in, it was a contributory. contributory process that we felt very compelled to offer everyone for free. And you know, for those people who are a little hesitant on writing, or if they write blogs and they don't think that they can move into, you know, something, you know, even longer or larger, a bigger project, how did you get started on your chapter? Like, you know, what was that writing process like for you? And even figuring out, like, this is what I want to say, and organizing it or setting it up, or, you know, just a little final advice about that writing process for you.
Everyone has different processes. You've written 6 books, and I'm sure the process is either the same or different for each book. Our co-founder, Rebecca Coda, you know, I'm sure everyone has, you know, she has different processes as well. Myself, being a very beginning author, I just went to my iPad, I opened the notepad, and I looked at Shaking Up Recovery. What do I want to say? What are the ideas that I want to say? I want to say 5 ideas or 6 ideas or whatever. Okay, let's elaborate on each one. Am I repeating myself? And basically going over and over and over again to organize myself. And then once I was finished and once I was done, then I was able to put it down on paper and really look at it from the perspective of, you know, what I see it. And Shaking Up Recovery, my first few sentences were I referenced the Brady Bunch. Is like, I never knew education was going to be the Brady Bunch, where you're going to have Zoom boxes and it's going to look like the Brady Bunch from the old school sitcom. And that's what it's like. I told students before we left, expect that's what it's going to be like. And it's just taking that, and it kind of took on a life of its own. I went and I took those ideas and I just wrote. And then I went back, okay, I edited a little bit and just wrote. Edited a little bit, just wrote. But I planned out some ideas. I planned out some, like, a little mini outline just to say, what does this mean to me? And it just kind of formed on its own. And I know if I do get, and knowing you as a good friend of mine and Rebecca, I know I'm going to get a nudge from you one day saying, hey, why don't you try something else? And I know going to try something else, it'll probably be the same format, maybe a little different, maybe a little variation. But it was interesting. It took, and once I got started, 4 hours later, I sent you the chapter. And that was it. Once I got started, I was just like, I was typing, and all of a sudden I look, I go, just 4 hours now. Oh, okay. Send it off to you. You took a look at it. You tweaked it a little bit. I tweaked it a little bit. And then finally we got to somewhere where it definitely, and yeah, people, I've never thought of myself. And, you know, we got a nice little comment. I love your thought of creating a new canvas to paint. Thank you, Miss Vicki Wilson.
That's awesome.
So, you know, basically creating a new canvas to paint is just every time you're going to create that new, you know, that new book. Every new book is like, Dr. Jetter's written 6 books. That's 6 paintings. And I see in the background, you know, you have frames of your covers of your books, just like paintings. And that's all it is. It's a painting of, you know, you started from the beginning. And I know from little birdies that have probably told me secretly, I know there's another manuscript in the works.
Yeah, we have a lot of projects that we're doing.
No. I know you have another manuscript in the works.
Yeah, we've got. I like to write.
I know you love to write, but I know you do.
This chapter is called "Shaking Up Recovery," not "Shaking Up Secrets," right?
Well, I know you've been, but that's the thing. It's just like, if you have the passion to do something, this is my point for it. You have the passion to do something, is to do it. You love to write. Yep. And that's where you crank out all those things. I know Rebecca loves to write, and she cranks out all these things. I'm finding a passion to journal and write more. And that comes from you guys. And it's just, I think that's going to come to a point where I'm going to develop that and become a strong, because I'm not an English teacher. I'm not a literature teacher. I'm a history teacher, but we still do write, you know, Melcons and DBQs.
Oh yeah. Humanities is humanities, right?
So, but to echo, just so I don't forget, just to echo what you said, I want to thank everybody because I had put out a personal note on the whole George Floyd situation and the protesting and things, and we got a lot of traction on that video. And I want to thank everyone. If you don't know or have seen it, please go back and visit it. It's right after the Untitled chapter, where I share some points of view on what's going on in the world today. And I echo Dr. Jetter's sentiment that here at Pushing Boundaries, we support everyone. We want to make sure everyone is safe, and please, just be safe and protest in a peaceful way. History has taught us that peaceful protest does inspire change, does inspire movement, and does inspire people to hear you differently. And and just if you see something that might lead to let's just call it a non-peaceful protest, just get out of there, be safe, protect yourself, just make sure you're very far away from that. And then we can eliminate those people who are not part of the change. They're just trying to instigate the problem. So, I mean, I think it's just what happened to George Floyd is a travesty, and we can go back. I saw a Vine this morning where the Vine person had like every single person that has been, a victim to violence from a police officer who happened to be African-American, names all over his chest, and then covered his chest from head to toe. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But the one thing I think and I don't know what your thoughts are on this. I don't know. We're going to have to reteach a lot of kids about the civil rights movement. I mean, just to teach them like this is how it should be. This is how it should have gone. This is not how it really should have gone. This is how it should have gone. These are the successful people. What happened in June and May was just instigated by a lot of narrow-minded, ignorant people. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I don't know. I think we're just going to have to.
We have a lot of recovery in so many aspects, right?
Yeah, recovery mode taking out a whole new meaning from what we started with to now. It's taking a whole new meaning.
And our colleagues, our team has a lot of resources, a lot of good ideas. You can reach out to any one of us. And I think that's really the next step is, okay, we have to figure out how we're going to re-enter to emerge not only with our COVID situation, but being culturally responsive and stomping out these inequalities, right? It's our global goals sitting right on our lap. And if we don't do something about it, things are going to compound to get worse in our country and all over the world. But
I think the one thing we got to remember too is that you and I both know it very well, but a lot of other people need to equity in education, equity in life, equity is the word that I think we really need to take away from it. Just being equitable in everything we do, from every facet and every landscape. Because if we all have equity and we all try to be equitable, I think these problems go away. But it's been a long time. So, I mean, hopefully it'll start resonating with people. But, I don't know. I try and stay away from the news now. I can't watch the news anymore. It's just, it's a Chopper 5, what's going on? Somebody else did this. I can't do it. It just this.
Yeah. I mean, an understatement is we have an awful lot of work to do.
Definitely.
Let's just get to it. Let's just do it.
Definitely.
So I love this reverse interview where I'm not the interviewee, I'm the interviewer. And,
go ahead, Dr. Jetter. Go ahead. We have about 2 minutes. So is there anything else you'd like to add or ask me a question? I like long walks on the beach. I think we already know that. I am small Pekingese dogs I don't like, and poodles. I don't know. My wife loves poodles. I don't know why. So
like the purse dogs.
Oh my god! You ever seen those ones? Those ones on the planes. Those ones on the planes are they're just yep. I can't understand them.
Yeah,
definitely, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pushing Boundaries. This is the Recovery Mode podcast. So a couple sign off notes. Number 1, be safe. Please be safe. Make some smart decisions out there. Number 2, our recovery mode book, what we've been talking about. I'm the author of chapter 4, Shaking Up Recovery. You can find this at pushboundconsulting.com. There is a little banner on the bottom that's going through that'll give you all the information. 158-page ebook that every week I will be going through and talking to different contributors. As much as I would love to talk to myself, Dr. Jetter volunteered to talk to me. So I always appreciate the help, sir. So please visit us there. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything is listed. So pushbound edu. What are you guys, and remember, just what are you guys doing to push the boundaries of your classroom, no matter if it's in your class or in your home? We are here for the kids. We'll always be here for the kids, and that's all we're trying to do, guys. So Dr. Jenner, any signing off moments, any words of wisdom, pearls of wisdom, if you will?
No, I think our next guest, Jonathan Wenstrom from Michigan, great guy. Wait till you hear his interview with Rob. It should be coming up next week. And just keep a look at the hashtag. We postponed a few Twitter events.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
We're gonna reboot them up, and I think actually, Rob's, yours is this Sunday.
Yes, I will have a Twitter chat this Sunday on Twitter for Pushbound EDU, talking about my chapter, coming up with, answering some questions if you have it, and we will repost on the Facebook line for Pushing Boundaries every single Twitter chat. We had to postpone this last particular one in because of George. We wanted to observe George Floyd's services, his funeral services. We wanted to be respectful of that, and give the country a time to grieve and a time to be respectful to hey, this is about him, this is not about us. And then we'll get to an alternative date on that one. That'll run until the Twitter chat runs until the end of June.
Through June,
through June. So all you educators, we all got so much to do, but we got you covered, buddy. We got you covered. So with that said, guys, please be good to each other. We will talk soon, and we will see you next Friday. Dr. Jetter.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rob.